Well, I'm Annette Dielman, and I come from Germany, and I'm living in the southwest of Germany, Kaiserslautern, and I'm working in organizations.
Tell me about organization. What is organizational
Organization. Well, organization, they have a specific goal in their system. So they would stay to the market, or they want to have some changes, and there are different people are working together in different groups, and they are following specific goals. So to bring this to a specific plan or vision, this is what an organization is about. So you can say people, some organizations are very big, others are small, which have the goal to do something together.
So what's the range of work that you might do in organizations?
Yeah. So I'm working in organizations as a coach, and then I'm working with managers, with the CEOs, which have different qualities of questions, what they want to change or what they want to achieve. So coaching is quite a specialty of my work in organizations. Another one is to support the system to develop and to reach specific goals. So to work with the employees or with groups to stay with the market. So, and this is very specific in my work, organizational development, that's called like this. Coaching, organizational development. Another thing is to work as a trainer for specific target groups, for example, for managers or for other people who want to learn something.
Okay, and what value do you think TA brings to this work in organizations?
I think the value is that TA is very much focusing on relationship. And this is something which is discounted often in organizations, that relationship does something on a hidden agenda with people, how they felt appreciated, how they felt so that they can bring their potential to the goal of the team or to the goal of the organization. And I think this is the most specific thing that TA is social psychiatry, like Byrne said. And this social aspect of the specific relationship between manager and his people, between people in the team, the employees, between employees and their customers, and so on. And to have a focus on this is really fundamental about TA in organizations.
Okay, so for people to really understand the relationships,
yes,
that those relationships are really important.
Yes, relationship and the meaning to see that there is relationship, and that brings an add-on, not only to focus on goals, on the topic, on what has to be done, but more to focus on the how people are working together and reaching their goals.
Yeah, lovely. And what particular models are useful when you're doing that work in organizations?
Yes, I'm very much working with the functional fluency model. People in organization can understand the language of functional fluency much better than the language of the ego state models. From that's my opinion. And I think to help people to understand their own energy management can be very helpful in coaching processes, and also in the development of teams, how they are doing this and how they can be more effective in relationship. And therefore I am using the functional fluency model, for example. Another thing is the general attitude of okay. So this is sometimes strange for people to understand what's the impact of being okay, but to work with this attitude, not to address it, but to work and to have it in mind, that helps very much to be effective in organizations, from the position of a manager, also from the position of a consultant. Discounting is very effective. Frame of reference is very effective. Symbiosis. Sometimes I translate these specific words like symbiosis to how people are taking responsibility. So I translate the model into the language of an organization so that it's understandable for them.
Nice, nice.
Or other models of how to make a diagnosis for a system. There I'm working with the system dynamics of Günther Mohr, who has made an application for organizations. So there's, but I think if we are autonomous enough to do our own thing with TA and not to stay very straight to the original definitions, but to understand the sense, what it's good for, and then make our own thing, what we learned during our long-lasting education, then it's most of the models we can work with the idea of the model.
And tailoring it to who you're, the context in which you're working.
Yes. We can only model a coaching process with a script circle, for example, not to make it explicit, but to use the sense of this and to make something clear and work with a coaching client. This is also possible in the right content. Yeah.
Could you give me an example of a piece of work that you've done and how you've applied the TA?
Yes. Mostly I'm working in organizations very typically with the system dynamics. So I'm making a diagnosis. I'm working in an interview with people so that they evaluate how is their quality of communication, how is their quality of problem solving, how is their quality of being successful. So, and in summarizing the interview results, I'm working with the ideas and the hypothesis and the models of TA. Do you understand what I mean?
Yeah, lovely. Okay, and what lasting value do you think using TA brings to the organisations that you work with?
Well, I think the most important is, on one end, to be in relationship. That this is that this brings more benefit. But on the other hand, it takes some patience with what is happening, because to learn this, people need a kind of autonomy to be more conscious of what is happening, to have more options what they can do, and then to make their own experience with their relationship they have. And but I think this is something very essential and very which organizations need to be effective and to be successful. Sometimes people who learned this with TA, they decide to leave the organization because sometimes they cannot stand it. And then I think it's a good decision for their own development and for being more autonomous than being passive and adapting something that they don't want. But it depends on the contract I have as an organizational consultant and as a coach for them, yes.